Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to another video. So today's video will be focused on what you should know if you want to do well in your first quarter or semester. So I went to UC Davis and I think that I could have done a lot better during my first trimester or my first quarter. I didn't do exactly how I expected. I didn't do horrible by any means, but I think everybody could do a lot better than they are doing unless they're getting 4.0s. So this will basically be based on my experience on how to do really well in your first trimester, quarter, semester of college. So let's get right into it.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
So the first thing that I would like to mention is taking good notes. You definitely want to take good notes if you are going to do well. I know a lot of classes may have PowerPoints that are uploaded and have the general information that was discussed in class, but it is very important for you to actually understand and comprehend everything that is going on. Even if there are PowerPoints, you might look at it later and it might not make any sense. So it is very important for you to take good notes. Make sure that you understand what's happening in any class discussion and exactly what the professor is saying. This goes beyond just bland information that might be on a PowerPoint, if there is a PowerPoint. If there isn't, then obviously you have nothing to necessarily rely on outside of what you have in your notes and maybe any other books that might be discussed or recommended for your class. But even then, you want to get the bulk of your information from the lectures and make sure that you write it all down. So the second thing really connects to the first. So you already have the good notes. Now what to do? You need to study well. So studying isn't necessarily being able to regurgitate everything that happened in those discussions, in those lectures. And this is very important when it comes to your lecture notes. So if you just rely on a PowerPoint or something of that nature, or just write any of the general ideas that are discussed in class, you won't understand the underlying factors to what you are learning. So it is very important to have good notes and to be able to study them. Application will be very important during exams, during quizzes, essays, homework, what have you. So it is very important that you understand how to apply everything you are learning in class, and that means that you study the material in a deeper level than what might be discussed in a PowerPoint or what a professor might generally lecture. So this includes what people might actually say during class, your professor's responses, stuff like that. Very deep understanding, study it well, know how to apply it. Number 3, so this kind of connects and brings things in, especially to the last point, so application. So you might want to do a lot of practice. So this might not always be easy when you are talking about classes that don't deal with math or stuff of that nature. Maybe it's more dry material, stuff that you need to understand at a certain level. So for example, you might have a subject that's like philosophy. So you want to be able to practice different practice essays and understand the material at a deeper level and understand your ability to apply what you know in the principles. So you will not only need to understand the material itself, but be able to apply it in different types of examples. So this would be very great leading up to like a final or a quiz and having practice problems, whatever the subject might be. I'm sure there's plenty of practice problem out there, multiple choice, anything really. You might want to fit the type of practice to what kind of test there will be. So if there's only multiple choice, then do multiple choice. If it's essays, do essays. If it's a mix of both, do practice in both, so forth. So application is very important in terms of what you learn and what you study.
Another one.
Number 4, so it is important to have a certain study schedule. So let's say you took good notes, you have been studying, and you know how to apply what you know. So what can possibly go wrong? It is very important to maintain balance in college, and this might be very different and most likely will be very different than high school. it is very important for you to keep balance. You don't want to be focused solely on your education to the point where your brain is fried and you don't like socialize with anybody and everything's kind of like a blur around you and you're just focused in your own little world. It's very important to have balance. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't study 80% of the time. It doesn't mean that you should study 20% of the time or whatever. So it really just depends on the classes you're taking, how easy you understand the material, how easy is it for you to learn the material, how easy is it for you to memorize and be able to apply the material. But even if all of that takes a lot of time, you need to remember to balance. So people will have different schedules based on how well they learn and everything that I just mentioned, but it is very important for you to have fun at times. Doesn't mean always have fun, doesn't mean rarely have fun. It just depends on your study schedule and how well you learn. But you do want to do other things than study and focus on classes and stuff like that, because you'll burn yourself out. Your brain will be fried and you don't want any of that to happen. You want to have mental stability and all of that. So try to have fun, play games, do what you like to do, play, the piano if you like doing that, listen to music, read books, hang out with friends, make new friends, do everything that you want to do as long as it does not get in the way to school. And you always want to remember that school is a priority, but don't push yourself over the limit just to do well. You want to do well, but you definitely do not want to push yourself to crazy limits. You might spend 80% of your time studying and focusing on school and 20% for fun, and that might work out for you. But for another person, maybe you need more time spent outside of studying and stuff like that. So maybe another person might spend 70% of time studying and stuff and 30% of time having fun, and they might have the same outcome when it comes to grades. And it might be something that you might not really process because one person is studying harder than another person, but that does not always mean that they will do better. Maybe the person doing 80% or 90%, their brain is fried, they're pushing so hard that they could barely control themselves and they're not having any fun. So the person that might be putting less effort is actually doing a lot better, or maybe just as well. So it definitely is important to keep balance. You want to succeed and you need balance to do so. To do well in school, it does not mean that you cannot do anything fun. It does not mean you can't go to parties. It doesn't mean you can't drink or whatever you want to do for fun. To each their own. So you want to keep balance. You want to make sure that any fun you are having is not going to crazy limits, but always remember to have fun. Having self-control, and this kind of ties back to everything you do in college will have its price. So it is very important for you to have self-control. You're most likely away from parents, you're away from your normal lives, however it might have been before college, and you're this free person. But self-control is very important. You do not want to burn yourself out. You do not want to do anything crazy. You do not want to commit crimes. You do not want to get arrested. You do not want to have citations. You don't want to get caught for cheating. You don't want to stay up every single night doing whatever and missing classes. So self-control is very, very, very important. You have to be responsible for yourself to do well in college. It is a different experience than having your parents telling you to do this or do that. You might get lazy at times, but you need to make sure that you're always doing everything that you're supposed to be doing to maintain your college life.
6 hours later.
So those are all the tips for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I have made other videos, so please check those out. Links will be in the description to some of them. I do make college videos. I made law school videos, bar study videos, and so forth. Vlogs and challenges are coming soon, so please subscribe to check those out later on. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.